Yeah.
Uh, so now I want to talk one of the most important thing. Like I really wanted to talk with you, which you mentioned in the book. The term is psychological reactance,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I okay. This is again very impactful if you get it right. Like that's what I believe. And for the listeners, like what? So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I learned from your book is that okay, let's believe I came from the work, I'm tired, and now the weather is good. I want to go for a walk because weather is good and I'm already tired. I'm planning to go for a walk, but 5 minutes, let's say my roommate came to me and he's saying same thing. Hey, Harpreet, the weather is good. Let's go for a walk. But now what's happening to me, and I believe it's going to be common, is that I don't want to go to work now anymore because I don't want to accept his command. I don't want to take action on his command. I want to do things free of my will.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that the psychological reactance. Please give your thoughts on it. Like I'm so much looking forward to this thing.
So you kind of have it right. So reactance, psychological reactance is you will naturally resist any idea that makes you feel like you don't have the freedom to choose. So let me give you another example. I talk about this a lot. You know, when you're a kid and your mom's like, hey, clean up your room. And you might have been want to clean up, but the second someone says, do it, you're like, no. You know what I mean? We all have it when you have a resistance to authority. When someone tells you you don't want to do something until someone says you can't do it.
Yeah.
I might go to put on my jacket. Hey, put on your jacket before we go out. I'm going to put on my jacket, but not because you told me. Like we have that resistance.
Yeah.
That is why so often, and again, it has to do with the fact that evidence won't convince people, right? Is when you tell them this is the best course of action and you get resistance to it. It's like, no, look, all the facts says that this is what you have to do. You have to do this if you want to survive, or if you want to get success, if you want to increase your revenue. And you're like, okay, maybe. You get a lot of, I don't know. Because the second people feel like they don't have the freedom to choose, they will resist that idea. And one of my favorite examples, I talk about it in the book, is from wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea was this, in the world of professional wrestling, like lucha libre style, if you're like into Mexican wrestling with the masks, is one of the things that happened is whenever they tried to introduce a babyface, a good guy, sometimes the audience liked it, sometimes they didn't. It's very hard to make people like an idea.
Yeah.
But it is very easy to make people hate an idea, not like an idea.
What's the science behind it, man? Like, why we hate things much more compared to why we like things?
It's easier to do. All good debaters, all politicians, that's all they do. They don't give you alternatives. They don't tell you the right idea. They just make the other idea sound bad. That's all it takes to convince people. And in wrestling, what they did was first they'd introduce someone and make people hate them. Because it's very easy to do. They'd come out and they tell you guys are all ugly. Boo! Whoever stood up to them, whatever other wrestler fought them, the people loved. And that was it. That's all it took. So when you are presenting, and if you want to convince people, instead of telling people the right thing to do, present options and make the thing that you want them to do the most advantageous sounding option. Make people dislike idea 1, make them dislike idea 2, and then say, but idea 3.
I know.
And we get more details into that in the book, but that's reactance. People will resist any idea that makes them impinge on their freedom. And as a result, if you just tell people what to do, they will resist it. But instead of telling people what to do, tell them, here's all the things we can do, but all of them are sucky. All of them are terrible, except for this one that we should do. And the likelihood that they will do what you want them to do increases.
And you think like, because I read and I know you put so many options there, put all the options with so many negatives, cons compared to the benefits, and put the other option with much more benefited. But in practical, if I have to now, because I'm going to start implementing this thing.
Do it.
So the option which I want listeners to listen, or anyone in front of me to listen, should I always put that option in the last with the benefit? Is that thing matters, or no, like I can put option with much more benefit in the start and then I can start giving them another options. What did you think on it?
So suppose we're going to do this. Suppose I'm trying to give you, I want to convince you to start fasting in the mornings, to not eat breakfast right away. Okay. I want to convince you. Right?
Mhm.
And I want to convince you to do it because it's going to help you to like get really lean
Mhm.
without having to like diet. Eat what you say, but just don't eat till 11, right? I could say, listen, today I want to talk to you a little bit about what are some ways that we can get a six pack, right? To get ready for summer. I mean, the first thing we could do is you could just really like restrict all your calories. So if you normally eat 2,000, that's it. You have to take 500 out, and you have to do it for the next 6 months, every single day without exception, right? And it'll work, but it's super hard to do. And then you're not going to enjoy you're going to be hungry and cranky all the time. You're not going to enjoy what you're doing. You're going to start hating it, right? You're probably going to fail. You're going to have a cheat day, right? I mean, the other option is getting a personal trainer, right? Getting someone to keep you on, right? But how much money is that? It's super expensive. What if you don't have money for a personal trainer every single day to keep you honest, right? Or one thing you can do is don't eat until 11 a.m. If you wake up at 7, just don't eat till 11. And then eat whatever you want. You're way more likely to follow that through. Now, whether that's at the end or in the middle or at the beginning, again, I have a preference, but it's not a rule. This is a tool you use. I love it when my last idea is the one I want you to do, because short-term memory only lasts like 10, 15 seconds. Harpreet, what were we talking about a minute ago?
Yeah, I'm gonna check the video.
Listener, right now you're like, what were they talking about? Exactly. So, but here's the thing. You can remember how you felt about things. So you might say, oh yeah, those first ideas weren't really good, but remember that last idea was really good. What was the last one? If it's the last one, the likelihood that you'll remember it is higher because it's most recent.
Yes. No, that's right. And when you mentioned your third point, okay, don't eat 11, and you didn't put so much negative, and I also get the idea in that same time. Okay, if I sleep like 6 hours and then again I don't eat for 4 hours, that's like 10-hour fasting. I can reduce my weight. So interesting that's how you can use that, man.
And notice, I didn't say you have to fast.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be like, no, I don't have to fast, Yvonne. I'm going to eat my stuffed non-bread thing. I don't know what you said it was.
You just put the option with the much benefit size.
Now you choose.
Wow.
You see? And it it's not 100%, but it just increases the likelihood that you'll go with my idea because it avoids reactance. It surpasses reactance. Most people fight reactance and you lose every time. So instead you avoid it by giving people the options and they feel like they can choose.